I have one more library book in my possession that I have not read yet. I've been putting this off since the beginning of quarantine. I've wanted to keep one unread library book just in case so I could have something to read. Hi, you're in the way. So I could have something to read. I've now owned this book for a month and a half now. I haven't read it. I am scared that some reason I'm not gonna get to it because I keep putting it off because I don't wanna read all my library books. But that's ridiculous. They're meant to be read, and as soon as it is safe to go back to the library and they're open, then that means I can just pick up a whole bunch more and not have to re-pick up this book. So this is gonna be a reading vlog of me reading Vengeance Road by Erin Bowman. I picked this up because of the cover. I haven't read any of Erin Bowman's stuff, but I've like heard her talk some and like videos about her and her books, and so I got really curious and I wanted to read her, I don't know how to say the title, but I can put the picture up. I want to read that one, but I can't remember if the library didn't have it or someone else had it. I saw this one and the cover's pretty and it's a Western. Just figured, why not? Let's dive into a fun story. Hopefully. I will update you once I get through some of this book. Well, that sure is a start to the book. Goodness. I mean the title's Vengeance Road. I don't know what else I was expecting. Well, isn't this lovely? I got cursive to read, and it's gonna be a pain. I can't read cursive. Oh. I just read the first 50 pages, and it ends right on chapter 6, so great stopping point. This book is really interesting. A lot of the wording reminds me of my small country town that I grew up in. And just, it's funny. Her dad, at the very beginning of the book, like very first page, is murdered. And so now she is going off and trying to avenge her father, figure out all these answers, and she has two people, like two other boys riding with her. I feel like they'll be with her for the rest of the book, but I don't know, I'm not for sure. I was able to read the cursive. I can read cursive, it just takes me a whole lot longer. Like I have to like really focus. That was never my strong suit in school. I just finished chapter 10 and I'm on page 110. I don't want to like spoil things, but we're just now getting into what I feel like the actual plot of the story is. Before, yes, we knew she was like going to avenge her father and she met these two guys and they were just riding. But now I feel like they are actually like, they have a plan moving along the actual plot and plan to get the revenge that she desires. I'm getting used to the writing, like the Western slang. There's been a few moments where I've actually like laughed. The two brothers, Will and what's his name? Jake? Jesse. That's his name. I think Will is pretty funny. And I have a feeling that her and Jesse are gonna end up liking each other. It kind of seems like that, like it's gonna be a hate to love kind of thing. This could easily be a 4 or 5 star book. Maybe not 5 star, but I don't know. I could definitely see this being a 4-star book for sure. If anyone happens to walk by the front of our house, they'll be able to see me talking, but like, I feel like this is the best setup. At least what we're gonna get for right now, until I get proper equipment, but you know, that's a long ways away, if ever. I am on page 155, about to start chapter 15, and it's getting interesting. I'm enjoying it, yeah, but like nothing too much to really say. Like I don't have any complaints or frustrations, but I also am not like falling in love with any of the characters or what's going on, you know. So far it's a pretty like neutral book. But yesterday I was trying to read some things for my husband to just kind of explain like how they talk, because I was trying to explain how it was like, it sounds like how people talk in my hometown. And as I was reading it, apparently my southern twang came out. He was like, I don't like you speaking like that. He was like, you don't sound like yourself. I didn't think I was sounding too country, but apparently when I read this, the country comes out. Which I guess it would kind of be hard not to, because it's literally Western slang and not proper English, which is what a lot of Southerners use, but you know. Tomato, potato. I'm wanting to finish this book today because the library is starting to open again. Well, it opens tomorrow, but it's opening with like, you can call in, place like some books on hold, and then they'll bring them out and pick them up that way. And then you drop them off using the book slot drop-off thing. So it's not like I can just walk into the library and like browse the shelves and pick up books. I will be able to return these finally, because we weren't allowed to return any books because there's no one there. I can pick up a couple more so that way I can get some books for the Asian readathon that is going on in the month of May. My Libby account, because it's just been online, I have filled up all my holds and I'm having to wait for books. I can't get any more from there because I've spent all my holds, because I want to read all these books, but the only place I can get them is on Libby. Hopefully I finish this book. If not today, tomorrow. I'm almost halfway. Not fully. I don't know. I just got to page 200 and I think I'm right. I think it's gonna be a hate to love romance in here, at least a little bit. And I think they'd be cute together. I don't know. I'd be perfectly okay if they didn't get together, but if they do, I'm not gonna hate it. So, continuing reading. Obviously, that's why I'm updating you. Kate, our main character, it seems like she's getting more emotions than just vengeance. She's becoming more of a person. We're seeing her like caring and her like confusion and frustration and just becoming more of a person and not just a plot line to get revenge. We've gotten a new character in the group. She is an Apache Indian who Kate saves at one point. She's come along because she's like, hey, like, I can be your scout, whatever. I'm just trying to get back home. I think her name is Luleli. I know I'm saying it wrong. But Kate, she just starts calling her Lil. Doesn't even try to say her name. And I don't know. It's just like, it's always weird. Like, even in person, whenever people try to force nicknames on people, especially because, like, one of the main things that she keeps saying is, that's not my name. Like, call me by my name. They're just not. I think she's interesting. She's kind of funny, but I don't think she's trying to be funny. Like, she just sneaks up on people and stuff like that. So she brings an interesting dynamic to the little group. Okay, sorry for the funky lighting, and also sorry if I'm talking really quiet. It's late. I couldn't sleep, so I was like, I'll just continue reading. It'll be a fun time. Now, what in the world just happened? What? Why are you gonna do that to me? Like, I feel sick. I was not expecting that, and I don't know why it's making me feel this way, but it is, and I don't like it. Erin Bowman, what? I can't believe that happened. that didn't happen. It happened. I guess I gotta finish it. I don't want to make it be a joke. Go like, haha, JK, LOL. It's done. I've read it. I don't really know a lot of my thoughts yet, but I do know that I want to talk about it. I don't know if it's a 3 or 4-star book yet. I think I'm gonna have to sit on it for at least the rest of today because it could go either way. I think it all depends on how memorable it all is and how it sticks with me, because it's a good story. I'm not worried about that at all. It's a good story, and if you are into westerns, pick this one up. I guess I don't know, I can't really compare it to other westerns because this is the first one I've read. But I do know is if you do not like improper grammar, like not just whenever she speaks, but also like in the descriptives, the whole thing is improper grammar everywhere, and my husband was like, that's the reason I would not be able to read this book. So if you're like that, you're probably not going to be able to read this book either. It didn't bother me because that's basically how people in my hometown talk, and that's how I talk a lot of times. I try not to, but you know, it didn't bother me. Okay, we're inside because my neighbor came and was like really close to the fence that's like in between us. I don't want an audience, at least not a live one. So we're back in here with the not as good of lighting. I am going to do a spoiler-free review, and then I'm gonna dive in and talk about all the spoilers after that. Hopefully I haven't accidentally spoiled you already. Yeah, let's just go ahead and start. So in this book, we follow a main character named Kate. Very beginning, like page 1, her father dies, and he dies by the hands of this group of cowboys, or ruffians, or whatever you want to call them, a gang, whatever. And so she sets off on a journey to kill them all, get revenge on her father's death, let his soul rest, because she heads off on this journey and she starts to find out things about like how her father wasn't very truthful with her, kind of realizes who he was and what he was like a part of. Her whole journey is just, she's on revenge road. She's trying to get revenge for it. She pretends to be a guy because during that time it was safer to be a dude. And during that time, her name is Nate. I enjoyed it. It's definitely a good book. I didn't really care for Kate because in the beginning and for like the first half of the book, she is very one-dimensional. She has only one emotion, which is vengeance and anger, which I can kind of understand because her dad literally just died, and instead of like breaking down and just like crying, that like spurs her into motion and she has to like get revenge. So it makes sense, but it was getting old. The story went on, it got less annoying because she started actually showing different emotions. And she started seeming more like a person as the story went on, and not just a character, you know? She seemed more like an actual human being. But the other characters I enjoyed a lot. Like, the like side characters that she goes on this journey with and meets and stuff like that. She at one point meets up with these two brothers and they go on this journey together. Their names are Will and Jesse. Will is very funny. I like him. He was probably my favorite. At some point they meet an Apache Indian. She joins and she was probably my second favorite. But I like how the story ends. It wraps up very nicely. I think there's a second one, but I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure there's a second one. I don't know what it's about. If my library has it, I'm definitely going to be picking it up sometime. Since that's all I really have to say without spilling all the secrets, let's go ahead and get into the spoilery review because I want to talk about this book. If you haven't read it, you don't want to be spoiled. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great morning or evening whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next video. But if you don't care to be spoiled, continue watching, but you've been warned. When this book starts out, like the very first page, I knew Vengeance Road. The title kind of says it. Something's gonna happen and someone's gonna want revenge. But that very first page and like the talking about him hanging, and then she just goes and straight up kills that guy in the outhouse. I'm like, oh, we're gonna be that type of story. Okay. I don't know what I was expecting with a book that's literally titled Vengeance, but it wasn't her just shooting the guy dead in an outhouse. And then she ends up killing like 3 or 4 people. And for someone who's never killed before, that's a lot of people. I don't understand why her dad didn't tell her more. I get he was trying to like protect her and like keep her safe, but like in the letter that he gives her whenever he goes to Abe's house after he's dead, it's basically like, sorry I'm dead. There are things I didn't tell you about, sorry, but just hang out with this random family that you've never met before and live with them like they're your family now because now you have no one. Love you. Did he really think that was gonna work? Did he not know his daughter? Whenever the scene when they're riding and they get up on that carriage and it's like burnt and there's just thinking about it like that, and then they burn that they burn the man, that makes me sick. Just thinking about it makes me sick. Especially, and then like the Rose Riders like carving the rose in their foreheads while they're still alive. Like, I don't need that much detail. No, I don't want that. Not for me. I gagged multiple times in this book. I'm glad that she saved Lulele. I know I'm saying that wrong. I'm glad that she saved her and it just was like peace whenever she was escaping the fire. That's whenever she started to show more of like actually being a human. Her actually going back in and like saving this person even though she like thought they were terrible. Even though they were just there existing. She was like the voice of reason the whole time. And I'm finally glad whenever she actually called her name. Like, that was annoying me. Whenever she would just call her Lil. Even though she kept saying, hey, that's not my name. Call me by my name. And then she doesn't call her name until she's begging her to save Jesse. Like, it's about time. I feel like this whole spoiler review is a mess, but you know, they're a mess up here in my thoughts. I just need to get these words out. I guess we better talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, but I guess we should. When Will died, oh, I was not expecting that. I didn't want that. No. Not him. Like, that still hurts because he was the one that didn't want to do it. He was the one that kept saying, no, let's go back. Like, we don't need to do this. But he kept staying because he wanted to be a loyal brother. And being a loyal brother got him killed. Hung up in a tree with a rose carved in his head. Like, when I first read that, it says like he's hanging. I was like, she's gonna cut him down and he's gonna like be like breathing. Like, he's gonna come back to life. It's gonna be okay. And it wasn't. It was not okay. He didn't come back to life. And, she couldn't bury him, so she burned him. You know how in, like, movies when people joke and, like, spoiler, everyone dies. But, like, in this book, it's half right. Like, basically everyone dies. Poor Will. He deserved better. He was the funny one. You know, there's nothing really else to talk about. I mean, she finally kills him and she gets the justice. I'm glad it says that, like, after that happens, like, she's still, like, it didn't fix anything. And I'm glad, like, she started to realize that, like, hey, I don't want to live in this darkness. Like, I don't want to live in this, like, need for revenge type of thing and all that. Like, I'm glad that was acknowledged. In reading this book, I realized I was more interested in the Native Americans. I kind of want to read more books about them because I don't think I ever have. Like, the only stories I read one book, They're There by Tommy Orange, I think, and I really liked that, but I wanted to read more, like, during this time and not, like, modern day, but also, like, I wouldn't mind modern day, you know? But I just realized, like, I want to read more books starring Native American characters. Those are all my thoughts. They're a jumbled mess, I know. I think it's a 3-star. Not a bad book. I definitely enjoyed it a lot. I don't know. Like, usually, like, 5-star books hit me in the chest and, like, I think about them later on and I'm, like, smiling and, like, wanting to relive those moments. And, like, I just remember them. And then 4-star books are like that, but it's not as intense. And I don't know if I'm feeling that, you know? I think if it was supposed to be a 4-star, I would definitely know. And, like, me questioning if it's a 3 or a 4-star tells me it's a 3-star. If you've made it to this end, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this reading journey of Vengeance Road by Erin Bowman. I enjoy filming these, like, little, they're probably not little, but these videos of just reading one book, kind of like a shorter reading vlog, but without, like, all the personal vlogging. I enjoy it, and I hope you did too. If not, I'm sorry. But I hope you have a great morning or evening whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!